Hi everybody, this is Rune. Welcome to this tutorial where we're going to draw the doors of our house. Now the last thing we did was draw all these windows here in cyan, and let's just make another layer and call that doors. Double click that to make it our active layer and then change the color. Now I'll just choose a color that's easy to see, so I'll go with yellow. Okay. Now to draw our doors, let's start with the front door. It might be a little hard to see on this drawing, but actually the door is drawn quite simply. It's just two rectangles in either side and then this quarter circle, kind of pie shape here. So that should be really easy to draw. But first we need to punch a little hole in the wall. To do that, I'm going to double click on the walls layer and I'm going to draw a line from this wall to here. And then I know that the dimensions of the door is 96 centimeters. So I'll copy that one. And I'll drag down here and I'll type 96 and enter. And then I will click and escape to cancel. So now we have our hole marked. I'll select all of this and I will type T for trim. And then I'm going to select these two lines and cut them. After I've done that, I'm going to press J and space to join. So now this is one closed curve and this is one closed curve. All right, let's draw these rectangles here. I'm going to go back to the doors layer. And then I'm going to just lock the walls layer again. Now, how wide are these rectangles? Well, on this drawing, it's not super important that the scale is exactly right. But let's just assume that they're the same width as the wall. So if I use the rectangle command that we used for the frames of the windows, and I click here, then I'll type in 12 centimeters for my length. Click OK. And then I'll just assume that the width is 5 centimeters. Now Rhino might have put that rectangle kind of the wrong direction. If it did so, then just move it down so that it fits in this hole. And then I'm going to copy it and going to snap it over here to the other edge. Now to draw this figure of the opening door. First thing I'll do is make a line and go down here. And then I'm going to use the arc tool. So A-R-C, enter. And I know that the center of this arc is up here in this corner. So I'll click center of arc here. And then I want it to start down here at the end of my line. And then I know that I want it to be 90 degrees. And because I have ortho on, you can see that it snaps to 90 degrees on its own. So I can just click, or I can type 90 and press enter. Same result. Let's just select that one and this one. And then I'm going to type J for join. And now I want to close this curve here. I can just do that by drawing a line here and then joining it all up. But I can actually also just select my line and then type close CRV, which is short for curve. So close curve and then enter. And then when I have an open curve, it'll close it at its two endpoints, which works very well in this case. Now I think it looks neater if you also draw a line here. So I'll just do that. And then we have our front door. Let's just go around and make the rest of the doors. Up here we have this door to the utility room. I'll do exactly the same thing. I'll type rectangle. I'll make it from here and I assume that it's 5 centimeters wide. And then I assume that it's 12 centimeters deep. Now I put it in a completely wrong place, but I'll just move it down here. And then I will copy it over here. I'll make a line here. Line here, use my arc command, center there, start there, 90 degrees, select those two, join, and then close curve, enter. It's very easy and you'll find the routine very quickly. Now this door is a little smaller and we actually don't have any dimensions to tell us where it's placed, so we're going to have to eyeball it a bit. What I'm going to do then is to create a rectangle and I'll just make it down here, 12 and 5 centimeters. And then let's move that up. And I'm going to keep an eye on the millimeters here. And I'm going to see, okay, here it looks like it could be 450 millimeters. So a nice round number. And I'll put that in and click. Now I need to make a hole here. So I will double click on the walls layer to make that active again. Then I will say from here, and I'll just drag my line out here and copy and then I know that it's 70 centimeters, this gap. Click, escape. Then I'll select the lines I want to cut, and I can select them individually by holding Shift, and then I'm going to trim. Doop, doop, doop. Enter, J for join, and escape to deselect. Let's copy the rectangle up here, and let's try something else for making the arc. Let's actually take this one, copy it down here, rotate it 90 degrees, and then using the scale command and choosing these 2 points, scaling it down. So that's just another way of reusing the geometry that you've already done. I'll just add a line here, finish. Oh, and I was on the walls layer. I'm just going to click the doors layer. I'm going to click this geometry. I'm going to right click, change object to layer, and then we should be all sorted. Let me just lock the walls layer. All right, then the doors to these chambers here, and we can see that they are 80 centimeters wide. So we actually have that door made already. So I'll just select this door, copy it over here, escape to cancel. And then again, we don't have a specific place for this door. So we're going to have to eyeball it. I'm going to select it and I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. Then I will move it. Let's just move it down here. And then I'll press move again. And I'll say, oh yeah, like it looks like 350 millimeters is probably the right thing. So I'll click that here. So this door is actually the mirror image of this door. So I'll select that one and then type in mirror and enter. And then I want to draw a mirror line through this wall. So where can I get the center of that wall? Well, I have it actually up here. I'll click here and just go down straight. And then you can see the little plus sign on my cursor. That means that I'll copy my geometry. Now, if I don't see that plus sign, I have to go over here and click copy and escape to deselect. And now you can see that I've copied my doors. I still have to cut the holes in the walls though. So let me just double click on the walls layer and let me lock my doors. And then I'll use the line tool to click here and draw where I want to cut. And because I have my doors locked, I can just select all of this, type T for trim, and then drag here and drag. Now, it doesn't look like I did anything, but I'll show you in just a second. For now, I'll just J for join, and I'll deselect. And now if I use the little light bulb to hide the doors, you can see that I actually made holes. The last thing I want to draw in this video are the sliding doors. We have one here, and one down here going to the outside. But you can see they're also drawn as very, very simple signatures almost. And we're just going to draw them quite simply as well. Now, first off, I'll double click on doors and I'll lock walls. So now I'm working on the doors layer. Then I'm going to use the rectangle command. And you can see down here, our drawing and the background drawing is not really lined up. So we're going to try and draw from the measurements and not from the background drawing. So let's start our rectangle down here. And for now, let's just going to assume that it's the same width as the window frames. So I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to guesstimate that it's 900 millimeters long. So I'll press enter. And now the rectangle appeared the wrong place. So I'm just going to type move. I'm going to move it over here. Then I'm going to copy this rectangle and copy it right next to it. And I'm going to move this one on the left. I'm going to move it up until it hits the wall. And then that kind of looks like what's in the drawing. I'm going to do exactly the same thing over here. I'm going to type rectangle. I'm going to click here. I'm going to use that width. And then I'm going to assume that here it's 850 millimeters. So enter, copy it over and move it up here. And now for the outdoor one, it actually looks like it's just a rectangle that's 150 centimeters long. So I will again use the rectangle command and I'll just draw it here. And I'm going to assume that it's 5 centimeters wide. Now it hopped inside the window. I don't want that. So I'm going to move it on the outside here. All right, that's it for this video. Follow along in the next one where we're going to draw the stairs and then also look at the outdoor space down here. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.